Yo, what's up YouTube? I'm Max, and this is my affirmation video of a book I've been copying through the Napoleon Hill Foundation. It's called 3 Feet from Gold. It's a little close relation to Think and Grow Rich. And then, like I said, this is my affirmation video, so I'm just reading it to you. You can listen, hear what I have to say. And we're on chapter 16. When you call upon your subconscious mind, you must conduct yourself just as you would if you are already in possession of the material thing you are demanding. Chapter 16, the courage to change. Just follow along, I'm just telling a story. There's nothing quite like a greeting like this, greeting that you get. And if I repeat it in my head, it's just because it's in my head and I'm just repeating it. So if I repeat something over and over again, that just means I want it there. Anyways, there's nothing quite like a greeting like that one. Greeting you get when it's a motivational seminar. You can literally feel the energy coursing through the hallways. Hi there. One of the meetings came through. It's my friend. Another shouted. Greg felt a little uncomfortable with all the enthusiastic people around him, especially considering that he had been kicked in the butt around lately. He definitely felt like he was out of place. Where? Glad to have you. A stranger said in an energetic tone, rival Richard Simmons at his best, and although these people were full of liveliness, to say the least, Greg could also sense the sincerity. Hi, Greg answered. Looks like we found the right place. He wrote a sticker on his shirt that read, Hi, I'm Greg. If you're looking for a group of happy, positive, solution-searching characters, people, counselors, mentors, someone else to listen to, that's not going to tell you wrong. You sure did, the man answered. I'm looking for you, a keynote speaker, said the young author. Frank McGuire, of the original founding members of the Federal Express. Do you know where I can find him? Right this way. The man led him toward a meeting room nearby. He goes in the last in a lineup, and everyone is excited to hear his story. Me too, Greg replied, walking through the doors as he immediately knew that McGuire was there and that he was placed tightly around him with all that he wanted was pictures and autographs, asking him all the questions after another, one question after another, instead of bursting into the front, which was his former style and approach. Greg sat quietly until his last person. He had a private moment with McGuire. This was Greg's first attempt at attaining an interview without help from his mentors. He wanted to see for himself, and when people opened up as they would, he would be introduced by an outside party. Well, we found the same common denominator. Can I say that again? No, I'm not even going to say that word. As he waited his turn, he felt a calmness that he was still new to him, a sense that even though he was there were still many questions to answer, and in which the mountains to climb, he was on the right path. Mr. McGuire, he said, as he walked towards the guests of honor, reaching out his hand. My name is Greg. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. The pleasure is mine, Frank McGuire said with me, genuine warmth in that photo. In his voice. Have we met? Yes, we have, and we had just shook hands. The younger man joked. He responded to the speaker, That's a good one. How may I serve you? Wow, there it was again. Another leader offering assist with which a guy was not even one of Buckland's buddies. How is it possible that every one of those people asked the same thing? I'd like a few minutes of your time. Have you ever heard of the book called Think and Grow Rich? Greg asked. Are you kidding? McGuire explained that book changed my life. While I'm working on a new project along with a woman named Sharon Letcher and with the help of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and I would like to ask you, you're working with Don Green? McGuire interrupted. You know him? Greg inquired. A great man and a great organization, Frank answered. Answering. What can I do to help? There goes the theory, the young man thought. Looks like he was in the same circle after all. No wonder he had the same attitude as all the others. Same attitude as all the others. Isn't it amazing that all his interviews in which were the same caliber of the same people? There's just no denying it. And now Greg felt proud when he sought to know someone. It was someone in which his mentors knew well. Would you tell me your story? Frank took a deep breath and said, The more Francis Xavier McGuire, Greg asked. Anyone can look up your name on the internet, see your accomplishments, yet know this. What kind of challenges have you faced? I've been without challenges. I've never been not without challenges. I've never been without challenges. Life is one big challenge, and if you put it this way, life has been a big opportunity to just overcome challenges. It's what you always look at things, and when it's something that you might have to learn. Greg asked, no, when I was a scrawny little kid, I was always the one that was getting kicked around. One day I decided I wasn't going to play that role any longer, and I jumped into the game. Once that happened, I also decided that I was going to play in the game of life. I was only going to play big. I was only going to play big, go for the big stakes, aim high. So I stood up and started fighting back. So you're a fan of Think and Grow Rich? Greg prompted. Oh, you're kidding? Hill was the creator of all things that we hear, see, and read today. Think about the personal development. The man is a genius. My favorite chapter is one about the gold miner who gave up right before hitting treasure. Greg was no longer amazed at that story because he knew he was becoming in which his own driving force, had affected someone else's life so powerfully. McGuire went on. Everyone I have known who has achieved some of this greatness has simply never given up in the face of challenges. When we started the Federal Express, we were told that we would never make it, but we didn't give up. When Colonel Sanders was told that he would never sell chicken at fast food, he didn't listen, he didn't give up. And when I worked for Jack and Kennedy back in the 1960s, no one threw... There's a lot of words. Can you keep up? Would get a presidential nomination, yet he never gave up. Other people standing nearby began forming a circle around the keynote presenter as he continued his thoughts. In every case that had been personally involved, with which all stories have been read, the people who have achieved greatness or the people who, sensing a nugget of wisdom about to be delivered, Greg opened up his pad and wrote, "Refuse to surrender." Yes, that is a true only when you're following your life's purpose, don't you think? I mean, if you're doing something you despise and you're not gifted at, isn't it reasonable that you should just find a new path and move on in a different direction? Greg asked, great point. The keynote said, absolutely true. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. It's just as Napoleon Hill described in his book, or my other videos down below, wherever they're at on your screen. Before any of these suggestions will work, they need to find your specific major purpose, your destiny. Then you will have it. Never lose focus on that destiny. Remember this, if you can dream it, you can do it. Once you know what you are destined for, failure becomes impossible. Greg stood still to drink in every word such as a powerful message. We kept speaking. In other words, your mind is not allowed for you to think about something that you couldn't accomplish. So when you put that, imagine that in which your mind, in which maybe is selling chicken in a cardboard box, or delivering patches in the middle of the night, or receiving the nomination of the President of the United States, if you could dream it, it's already a reality. That's just waiting for you to get there. Greg scribbled in this now, a custom fashion, and a message that he had gleaned from the keynote speaker. A dream is just a reality waiting for you to get there. From the very beginning, what it was like working with Fred Smith, as you always, when you guys started the FedEx. FedEx. He was a wonderful philosopher. In 1973, he had a vision of the Federal Express in which circled the globe, providing a service that no one else could be capable of. And although he, as a venture capitalist and his close association said that he was crazy, he never gave in. He always knew how to play big until, of course, he chose to find a way to play even bigger. How did you get involved with him? After my departure from KFC, Fred saw an article about me in a Business Weekly and called me up. He said he'd like to talk with me. I went to see him at a little Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn. I don't know why I'm laughing. And he had done this with his napkin. He had drawn on. And let me ask you this. I want you to understand what you're saying. You want to ship out packages across the country in the middle of the night and bring them right after her into Memphis? He said, yeah, that's right. A little concerned, I replied, that's what I thought you said. And then you wanted to circle them around and send them back the next morning before dawn? He answered, that's right. I said, Fred, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And looked at me. And looked at me and said, any dumber than selling chicken in a cardboard box. Laughing, Greg said, that's amazing. Isn't that really what he said? How long was FedEx around before you came aboard? It wasn't. I was one of the first guys. Would you call yourself a co-founder? Immediately, McGuire so really said, "No, there is no co-founder. I read this and I am only the founder, the same one with KFC. Unless you are the guy in the white suit, you're not the founder. What would you say people are who feel alone onto their guests? What would you keep suggesting as you inspire them to keep going, to find out what's meant for them? As you keep inquiring, don't make the mistake to think that you are the only one that has ever gone through some such experiences. The truth is that we all share these experiences. And we all love our kids, and we all go through the same things of raising them. We all have the same businesses that we go through cycles. Give me an example of going with the flow when challenges come your way. You're leaning in toward, Greg shifted his body. McGuire shared his final message. Using the FedEx example, 50% of our revenue was of documents and of either the other 50% was from packages. One day we looked in the paper and read about this new thing called a fax machine. Knowing that half of our revenue had just been taken away, we could easily quit then. That's it. It's over. We're done with. But not Fred. He kicked the tires. He got creative. And a better company in the face of his major obstacle was thrown in his path. We did that many different times. Without any prompting, the group had gathered around, applauded as McGuire rose and wished the young author a farewell. Before he could leave, McGuire put his arm around Greg's shoulder and whispered into his ear, "There is gold within, 3 feet from where you stand now. So stay away from the self-pity and stop playing the victim, and whatever you do, keep digging. It's your turn." I'm Max, and that was a chapter from the Napoleon Hill Foundation book, 3 Feet from Gold. And that was chapter 16, The Courage to Change, and this was my affirmation video, so it's just one cut. And when you call upon your subconscious mind, you must conduct yourself just as if you would if you're already in possession of the material thing you're demanding. Now it's chapter 16, The Courage to Change, through the Napoleon Hill Foundation. Thank you very much. I hope you're listening. I'm Max, and I'm out.